Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the FAR Community Creators series. I'm Chaz, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Kristen Chuang.
Hello.
So, Kristen, you are a designer and illustrator here in Bloomington. Can you tell us what exactly that means and how you got started?
Yeah, for sure. So I have been running this little side hustle, which I like to call it, for a little over a decade. And I started it right as I was coming out of undergrad. So I studied fashion design in school at the University of Cincinnati. And I knew halfway through that 5-year program that I didn't want to do it, but I stuck it out. And toward the end, had started working on different invitations, so wedding invitations, baby shower invitations, and then some good friends of mine who were the first of our group of friends to get pregnant. They were having a shower, and I was sort of like, at that age, you don't really know what to gift someone when you're just not at all thinking about also having kids. I just wasn't in that space. And so I thought back to this baby calendar that my mom had used, that my parents both used when I was a baby. That was like a free Walgreens baby's first year calendar. And I just decided like, all right, I'm going to take that and I'm going to remake it sort of with my style and gift that to my friends. And it was very well received. And then other people wanted me to make them. And then it just sort of turned into this little spark of an idea of, okay, I don't want to do fashion. I don't know what else I want to do. I'm going to be moving to a bigger city. Maybe I'll just start a business. Maybe not the smartest idea, but it happened and it worked out. And I started really kind of playing in mostly with custom wedding invitations. Later that moved into art prints a little bit, and then continuing on this baby calendar journey, which around that time I ended up getting a feature on a mom blog called Cool Mom Pics, which is also kind of a funny, I'll never forget the boost in sales that I had after that happened. But also never the kind of thing that I would think like, I'm going to be featured on a mom blog, like one of my products. But yeah, so lots of product, paper goods and product stuff. And then the business has shifted a little bit as I've continued to explore the side hustle.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I know you're pretty busy doing that, and you work for the university here, and you also sing and do some other things, so you're pretty busy.
I like to have a lot of things going on to keep myself entertained, especially right now. Lately, what excites me the most about, I wouldn't even really call this part of the business, but just more the little things that excite me that I do on my own to get creative juices flowing, I don't know, is lettering, hand lettering, quotes that I really like. So, and then another thing that's been saving grace throughout the pandemic is Brene Brown's podcast. And so that I actually was not like a big Brene Brown follower until I started listening to her podcast, and I decided to letter a quote by her. So what you were seeing is my process as I'm writing on an iPad and using Procreate, and just making edits and tweaking and changing colors if I want to, just making decisions kind of on the fly. But what I've been enjoying lately is just doing little sketches and then sharing those on Instagram. And it's just kind of it's really more for my own personal enjoyment.
What is your Instagram so people can look if they aren't following you already?
Yeah, so it is at Homeseed Paper. And Homeseed is that's what my Etsy shop is called. And that's sort of what the DBA that I used when I started the business in Chicago has been under.
So is that your normal kind of process? You working on the iPad for those sorts of things? So is that just kind of the normal process? Yeah, that's right.
No, it is. I would say, so I got the iPad a few years ago, I got it since I've been living in Bloomington and at IU. So that is a newer part of my process, but in the past, I used to just sketch things, scan them, and then go into Illustrator and use the vector pen, like the pen tool, and vectorize things. And just like, it was a very long process because it involved taking something from paper and then pulling it into the computer. And so having the iPad has been kind of a game changer where I can just quickly illustrate things. You can pull in images and reference, like pull colors from those images if you want to have a different kind of color palette. And so I really enjoy using that app, Procreate. And there are more. Adobe has also rolled out more for the iPad that I haven't really played with yet, but yeah, it's been a fun part of the process. And I would also say the other thing that I do outside of paper goods is some branding work with smaller businesses. So the main one that I work with is a cocktail house and bar out in Glen Ellen, Illinois. So they're in the suburbs outside of Chicago. And I got to help them go through their entire identity journey. And so from the get-go, having conversations, they had decided on their name already, but we were really building this whole identity around their community, their product, what they were hoping for this space to look like, how they were envisioning it, who their clients would be, and having a lot of really interesting conversations, and then creating the brand from there. And so since then, we've just kind of continued to iterate on different elements of their brand, doing lots of illustrations. So we're really focused on the ingredients that go into their cocktails. And the iPad has been huge in that, where I just get to, they'll have something new that they want to produce quickly, and I'm able to just pick that up and kind of churn stuff out faster. So yeah.
That's awesome. Do you ever get to try the cocktails?
Not as much as I would like.
The pandemic affected your work at all, or is it just been okay?
I would say I felt like I was able to take on a new batch of baby calendars a little bit more easily, since I do everything in-house on my own anyway. It's really just getting the product sourced in. And I feel like I was kind of able to make that happen faster once I was completely sold out this past time. I will also say I'm really grateful that sales for those have not halted at all or really been impacted. I've actually had a couple of really good months. I don't know if more people are having babies right now, but I'm very appreciative to still have had that kind of support on the side. And then things with Common Good, where they're pivoting and I'm sort of supporting them through that pivot. But yeah, I would say it's more that I'm just home more, and that means I think sometimes maybe I feel a little more obligated to be productive and creative. And there's a lot that comes with that. Like, that's emotionally a little bit difficult. And I think everyone was feeling that in the beginning for sure, where we were all just like trying to grapple with this sort of communal grief that we were experiencing. And then what came with that was how we were responding, and that we just needed to, I was like eating all the comfort foods I could think of. And I know there was this mix of feeling, just like we had to be more productive. I think I've ebbed and flowed for sure. But for the most part, side hustle's been great with work, so.
Do you have any other special projects during this time? It doesn't have to be related to your art, but is there anything you're working on especially right now that you'd like to share?
To keep myself entertained, I've been trying to sing more. I got a ukulele. I'm not great at the guitar. I thought a ukulele might be a little better, so that's been fun to play with. And then I'm trying to relearn Mandarin right now, which I learned when I was a kid and then did not use. So I'm trying to relearn that, and I'm taking American Sign Language classes. So those are kind of the wide array of different activities that I'm working on right now.
And to end on a nice note, what do you like about being an artist in Bloomington?
Bloomington is it feels like such an entrepreneurial community. I already had this business for about 6 years before coming here that I had started in Chicago, but there it feels really inaccessible to be like engaging with a lot of other artists in the community. You're so divided by different neighborhoods in the city, and there's just so much more happening. And I think the scale of Bloomington is really special. And there's just a lot of people doing really interesting things. And I've been able to partner with different friends and collaborate with different people on projects, and even work with local vendors and fellow artists to capture my work. So Anna Powell-Denton, who was previously on the series, she takes all of the product photos for my shop. And so it's really fun to be able to collaborate. And then I've like hopped in her studio and been a hand model for her. We just get to like, I don't know, there's this sort of cycle of community creation that I feel like happens. And it feels really unique.
How can Bloomington find you? So we already talked about your Instagram and you have your Etsy. Can you just say that again to make sure we can find you?
Yeah. I'm most active on Instagram, so that's at Homeseed Paper. My Etsy shop is called Homeseed, so you can find that on Etsy or just Google, Homeseed Etsy. And then if you want to get a better feel for some of the more branding projects that I've worked on, that would just be going to my website, which is KristenChuang.com.
Well, I think there is one thing that I think the world should know about you, and that is you like ice cream a lot.
Thank you. Really, thank you for acknowledging that important part of myself. I have an ice cream tattoo. Yeah, it's a big love.
So thank you so much, Kristen, for joining us today, and it was so fun to learn more about you and see your work.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Tune in next month. Okay. We did it. We're going to do it. Okay. That's just to say. Our communicators, Jazz, you're you, we're here.
You're you, I'm me.
Yeah. All right.